Good morning. Welcome to Monday and a brand new week. I'm so excited to be with you today. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, today I'm talking about money and pricing. And it's been really interesting noticing my own relationship with these things because it has been a relationship. It has been plain sailing and lovely and romantic at times, you know, when you have the big money months. And at other times, it's been like a soap opera, throwing plates in the street. You know, that. And it's taken a lot of work and healing and time to get to this point of being really comfortable with where I'm at and trusting the amount of time that it's taken to get to this place. And I think there's such pressure to, especially if we pay attention to the internet, to be at our first 10K month or to have a 7-figure business or to be retiring your husband or any of these sort of internet marketing type situations. Or equally, it could be those things on paper, like to be able to be mortgage free at 24 or get on the property ladder or have this amount of savings. And I think that pressure to tick boxes and to be at a certain point can be really quite stifling because actually everybody's situation is really different. And I always knew that my career was going to be long, because it wasn't reliant on me fitting into a box. So when people say, oh, there'll be no place for me in my organization after 45, that always just surprises me and opens me up to a conversation because I'm always like, oh gosh, that you're fitting into the expectation. Your career is perhaps built on something that has been created by somebody else. And my theory is at 45, I'm just getting started. I'll be like, right, what am I going to do now? How am I going to build? And, you know, perhaps by that point, yes, they will, definitely. But both children will be at school. And I have that sense that at 45, I don't want to be like, oh, well, the good old days when I was 27. I want to really own this next phase of my life. I really want to see where I can go. And I love it when I see other people really moving and shaking and discovering who they are and what they want to do and be and have and all of those things. So the other day I went on a walk. And it was one of those, like, I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to run, but I just wasn't feeling it that day. So it was a bit of a stroll. And then I got really into a podcast. And it was one of those where you have to take notes. So I was just kind of strolling around the block and typing into my phone at the same time. So even though I had my running kit on, I wasn't a sweaty mess. But I was looking like I was not in proper clothes. Anyway, because I had a bit of time, oh my goodness, what a luxury, hey. I went into my local Superdrug and I had been after a perfume for a while. And there's one particular, there's several perfumes that I really like, but there was one that I was like, oh, I really want to repurchase that. I really love that. And I thought, right, I'm going to go into Superdrug and see if they have it. And this perfume, I mean, I'm not a perfume expert, but this perfume is it's one of those that you can get in 30 mils, 60 mil, 100 mils. And, you know, the price affects whatever's going on according to that. And so the first moment of actually going into Superdrug, I realised, gosh, I haven't been in shops in a sort of browsing way for a long time. And I had my headphones in and they're Bluetooth ones. And I know there's loads of memes about those, but it takes a minute for me to unplug. And the man started talking to me behind the counter. And as soon as I went up, he was like, hi. And I just sort of had to do that awkward gesturing of like, oh gosh, sorry. I can't hear what you're saying. And then I said, oh, what did you say? And he was like, hi. And I was like, hi. He's like, right, so how can I help you today? I was like, oh, I'm just having a look. That awkward moment where you're like, oh my God, just leave me alone because I'm just catching my breath and I'm having a moment and I don't need this interaction. But he clearly did. And I understand that, of course. I've worked in retail, and that pressure to increase sales and all of that is, and people are passionate about their topic, about their product, so want to share it. But just on that moment, and just for maybe the first 20 seconds, I just wanted to have a moment. And I just wanted to see, firstly, if this perfume that I wanted to buy was there, and it wasn't. But then I was sort of having a glance around. And there's so many different perfumes, and so many pop stars have perfumes. It made me chuckle. And of course, there's Charlie Red there, back from the 90s. Oh, that just smells of like PE changing rooms to me. Anyway, I was just having a moment, and the man kept talking. And he then started to point out the discounts. And he was like, this is 50% off. It's really nice. It's really nice. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. And I said, oh, thank you, and carried on looking. This one is 30% off. And this price, already I'm getting quite hectic, and maybe you are going, oh gosh, shut up, guy. But he was like, this one, you get 30% extra for the same price. And this is brilliant because it's usually this. And he was just giving me all these facts and figures. Again, for somebody else, they might have been like, oh, wow, yeah, I do need a perfume. And actually, I'm not that particular about what I want to buy. And the fact that that one's 50% off, and what you usually say that it's 80 quid and now it's 40 quid, I'm all in. I'm doing it. And it was interesting for me to notice how that pricing interaction went. Because as a customer, I actually wasn't interested in the price. I was, because, it's not like I'm sitting on 50 million pounds. But my intention, my need was to get the perfume that I wanted. Because for me, that smell, I'm such a, maybe there's some sort of phrase for it, but my senses, God, that sounds like such a, but like my senses are really sensitive, but they are like, I'm such a, I always remember smells, and it's very evocative for me, I guess. And so I'm not somebody who would just wear a perfume because it's like, oh, I better put a perfume on. Like, I'm really particular, especially like face creams and stuff like that. Like, I don't care if it's got peptides or vitamin A or whatever it is in. If it smells like bum, I can't do it. Or if it smells, oh, sorry if you're eating your breakfast or having some food, but when it smells like too puddingy, like too vanilla-y, I'm not good with those. I'm much more of a zingy, florally, musky type situation. If it smells like I could eat it, I'm just not going to do it. But it was interesting in terms of that pricing. And I walked away and I didn't order. I didn't have anything, but I did go home straight away and I went and ordered it online, and it's coming today, which is very exciting. And it really made me think about pricing and interactions in terms of leading people to a sale. Because what I realized in that circumstance was it didn't matter what the price was. It didn't matter about what the deal was. That person, that organization, that brand did not have what I wanted and what I needed. And the brand that I then went and bought, I bought it at full price. And I was really excited to do that. And it's coming today. Did I tell you? Oh my goodness. Stuff through the post. It's so exciting, isn't it? And this is when I started to think about how this shows up in other areas. And I've got 2 big weddings next year. One, I'm actually a bridesmaid at. And the second, it's actually been postponed. This will be the third year running when we're going to try and go for it. But how old will my kids be? 2 3/4 and 6. So I'm hoping that I'll be at a stage where I can, famous last words for goodness sake, but I'm hoping that I can wear something that I feel really good in, that feels like me, that feels like this new version of me, sort of post kids, and hopefully I'll find that kind of something that I feel comfortable in and I feel good in, and I feel like that will be, hi, I'm 40, etc. And I know that sometimes when people go for something like a wedding or a christening or something that they're spending, an occasion situation, again, that sense of spending a bit more money but getting the right thing that you want is really crucial. So there could be those moments where it's like, well, I could go to Primark and I could buy 5 of these dresses, or I could wear this one thing that makes me feel really good. And I think especially in something like the 90s culture it was about having all the things. Or sometimes we see it on YouTube where people go, oh my goodness, look at my collection of 45 lipsticks. And I always think 45 lipsticks, I know they get a lot of press discounts and all the rest of it, but that always blows my mind a little bit, because who needs 45 lipsticks? No judgment, no shade, but it really fascinates me because I've noticed my own spending habits that I would rather have less but have better, because I maybe know myself a bit more, and the things that I tend to buy now are much more sort of classics, I would say. Who am I, for goodness sake, some kind of fashionista? But I want to talk about this in terms of you and your pricing. And what I've noticed over the pandemic in terms of the way that I'm supporting clients, okay, and here is the thing where I want to kind of hopefully dispel some things. I've never had more people spending at a higher rate and for longer in my business as a coach in the last 10 years. So you would think at this time, loads of people would spend 20 quid on my £20 shop. Not being the case at all. In fact, I would say I've sold a handful. I have consistent sales that people buy and discover, but generally it hasn't been that. And that hasn't been the trend. And I've never been asked for a discount, or I've never discounted. Actually, that's really key to say. I've never discounted these services. And these have been people who have, and I feel really lucky to just work with them, absolute ideal clients, people who I want to work with, people who I'm excited about supporting, people who go, right, Nikki, for the next 3 or 6 months or year, I am all in. Let's go. Let's do this. And I love it when they send I've got 18 things on my list and these are the things that I want. And the money that I'm charging in these circumstances is not just a £20 purchase. But in terms of that purchasing process, nobody's ever said, oh gosh, I don't think I've got the money right now, and that's not to say spending money on a coach or spending money in your business is not scary, because I think when you do go up to the next level and your overheads do start to increase, it can be a bit unnerving sometimes, because you have to keep going back to the thing of, am I going to make this money back? Is this going to be worth it? And what's this going to look and feel like? And it's stepping into a new version of yourself, which is always scary. And I'm sure there'll be so many kids who are going back to school today who, are going into a new situation, or I don't know. We all have those moments, don't we, where it's like, whoo, I kind of want to cry a bit, but I know I've got to dig deep here. And once I've got over that next hurdle, I know that it will be good. But what I want to say today is to really think about who your ideal clients are, and who are the people who are going to absolutely love what you do and you have to offer. Because those people, as long as it's value for money, of course, this is not just about going, I don't know, I think I might just make it 2 million quid and just see. It is a bit about value for money. It is about doing what you say that you're going to do. It is about managing expectations and meeting them. But I want you to think about this before you go, right, 30% off, let's go. before you undermine what you've got to offer and connecting with that person who's going to purchase, like me with the perfume situation, actually, I would have paid more for that. Or, I got free delivery on it because I spent over a certain amount, which was lovely. Love a bit of free delivery. That's great. But equally, it wouldn't have stopped me from purchasing. If they weren't going to pay my free delivery, no problem. I would have paid it. It's absolutely fine. And I would purchase from them again. It's a really interesting process also to observe what you do, to observe what you value. So before you, listen to some guru on the internet, I'm not calling myself that, by the way, but before you go, oh gosh, I watched this webinar and somebody says in the first 15 minutes, like if you purchase now, you get this, this, and this. I want you to give yourself back that power and go, what feels good to me? What feels good to my business? And what do I know my clients, my customers absolutely love? Also, it's very important to be integrity and really fit in with that long-term plan as well. As in, if you do a quick sale and then suddenly you're going full price, or you've just charged something full price and then you do a quick sale, what does that say to your customers who've invested with you for 3 months? Like, oh gosh, maybe it wasn't that worth that in the beginning, and it kind of invites all kinds of questions. So I really want you to play the long game here. And if it is a quick cash injection that you need, think about how you can do something one-off, or how you can really support your customers in a different way, perhaps different to what you already do. Maybe it's a masterclass, maybe it's maybe it's an online event, maybe it's something like that where you can give people a taste of what you do. But in terms of the bigger offerings, discounting and pricing may not be the tipping point that somebody takes in order to purchase. So I would love to know what you think about this and join in the conversation. And also, if you like listening to this, of course, rate, review, subscribe, sharing your stories, all that good stuff. If you're interested in talking about packaging your services, pulling it all together, thinking about that, do check out my personal brand plan. There are 2 options. There's a done with me and a DIY version. So you can have coaching with me for 3 months as part of that, or you can work through the materials yourself. And I really dive a lot deeper into this kind of conversation. So sending you lots of love from here, and I hope you have a lovely day and a smooth ride into this new normal. I'm thinking about you, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.